Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome to another week of FOW news. Before we get started, as always, be sure to visit the link in the description below to go to Happy Little Hug Factory. They have FOW sealed product. I believe he'll be having the FOW singles back on his website. It's sort of split between that and tcgplayer.com as well. So the FOW singles, as well as Caster Chronicles, the new set that just came out. The new World Order admission is on there for around $58, $59, as well as the star decks and singles, a whole bunch of Caster Chronicles singles from this new set. So be sure to visit there and click in the link in the description below before going there so they know we sent you. Alright, so there's quite a few things to go over this week in news, so let's strap on in and go through it. First, it has to do with the ruler misprints that we talked about last week. So I talked about how people weren't getting their misprints or waiting a long time, and how I myself hadn't even gotten my misprints, as well as Oscar. So I actually was contacted by Robert, the head of the sort of US events and all that for Force of Will, and he's also in charge of the distribution of the misprint rulers, the corrected versions of them at least. And so he messaged me to let me know that basically it's sort of stuff that's out of their control and mostly up to the players, because they have to sort through sort of a lot of submissions that are incorrect from the players. He said around 20 to 25% of all things they receive in the mail are incorrect, whether that's missing information, missing a return address, missing the card itself even, that they're trying to get a reprint or the new version of, different things like that. And he said just a couple weeks ago he had about 80 submissions, and about half of those submissions were incorrectly filled out, and every time that happens they have to contact them or the company and figure things out from that point forward. And so yeah, so it sounds like it's just a whole bunch of stuff, that combined with the fact that he said the company opted for just regular snail mail, not priority, nothing with tracking, nothing like that for sending back out to people. So those two sort of things combined just lead to what we're seeing with wait time. So just remember, if you guys are sending misprint rulers in, follow all the instructions. Print out the sheet that's completely filled out. Make sure you have your ruler in the envelope and then send it out. All that type of things is very important to help speed this process up just for everyone involved. If you want to see his full response and quote, just click the link in the description for tcgscrubs.com, where I have the written version of the news, and I'll have the full quote from Robert as well as other information on there as well. Just a quick side thing to note, I didn't realize it last week so I didn't mention it, but on May 22nd was the 6th anniversary of the founding of the Force of Will company, so that's kind of a little cool tidbit, just so you guys know. So moving on to GP news, we got a lot of GP sort of announcements and kind of results. So the first big bit of news is GP Denver. So if you guys remember, this was the GP that was at the sort of convention and then ended up having the date and location changed. And so now there's another update to it. It was a sealed event and now it's being switched to New Frontier. So if you're planning on going to that event, just remember now to actually bring a deck for it. And so I'm pretty actually excited about that, because it'll give us a chance to see even more possibilities of decks going forward, as well as it looks like more people are interested in attending the event. I saw more posts of people who are saying that they might actually go to this event now, and I didn't actually see any posts of people saying they wouldn't go to the event now that it's New Frontier. So that's just an interesting thing to note as far as like how sealed is going over in GPs and all that. But so that's more changes to Denver. As far as the past week, we had GP Toronto. We don't have the exact results yet. If you go to our website, you'll see there's nothing for it yet because we don't have full info. I think we're going to get the full info hopefully soon. We'll be looking into that. So just keep an eye out for when we have an article come up. The only thing we do know for sure is that top 8 was just 8 Sherrys. So if you want to see me and us talk about that, we talked about in our most recent podcast, and yeah, how happy I was about that. But so top 8 was all Sherrys for GP Toronto. As far as upcoming GPs, this weekend we have GP in New Zealand, so we should be getting information pretty quickly with that. I think someone had offered to help us get that information from that GP. And also in GP news, in GP Collinsville, which is going to be at the very end of June, Oscar and I should be attending that. We'll have a big stack of promos if you guys watch the podcast. So if you guys are at that GP and we end up going, be sure to come up and say hi to get one of these random not so random promos That is totally worth it. The next cluster of Force of Will was announced. If you guys missed this, it was announced during the last day of spoilers. And the big news, the big takeaway is that we're going to be going back to Valhalla. So that is super exciting. Valhalla, in case you guys aren't aware or newer to the game, Valhalla was the very first cluster Force of Will ever did. It was in Japan and had a very limited release in the US. It had a couple sets that were very small. I think they're like 56 cards or something in a set. And it had different mechanics such as break and really broken English and all that before it switched to Grim Cluster, which is what is basically going forward. Valhalla is only legal inside of Origin format and Epic Stories format, pretty much illegal in Wander and any other format inside of Force of Will. Is sort of that outlier. So it's really cool that we're visiting Valhalla again just for nostalgia reasons, and also be able to actually bring into the fold the Valhalla art, the Valhalla characters and all that into a legal format that will be recognized by Force of Will. So I'm super excited about that. And as you can see, it's coming in September. So that's something to look forward to going forward. We have 2 bits of Caster Chronicles news. The big piece of news, I'll wait, it'll be the last thing, so I'll wait for that. But the first one was, in case you guys missed it, Caster Chronicles, the new set, New World Order admissions, as well as the starter deck, Magical Dream 7, was released this past Friday. I have a box opening for both of those. It is really cool set, especially the star deck. I keep talking about the star deck, but I really like it. It's one of my favorite star decks of any game, personally, that I've seen. But the interesting thing to note in the booster boxes is it did not come in with any ultra rares. If you play casters or aren't too familiar, casters, they have level 1 and level 2 casters. And level 2 casters, you're guaranteed 1 per box. It's an ultra rare. And so similar to Rulers and Force of Will, you're guaranteed 1 per box. This set, we noticed, there is no level 2 caster, so you don't have that guaranteed ultra rare in a box because there's no ultra rares. So that's a little bit disappointing. I think they might have substituted it with an extra SR or something like that, but nothing to make up for the ultra rare. So a little bit bummed out about that. The only level 2 caster is the one inside of the starter deck, but it's a plain non-hollow, non-texture level 2. So it would have been cool to at least see like a reprint of that, but textured inside of the set itself that you could pull or something like that. But a little bit disappointed about that. But if you want to see that box opening, once again, on our channel, and like I said, that box, as well as all the singles, is on Happy Little Hug Factory now. It wasn't, I don't think, when I filmed the video, but all of that stuff is on their website now. Speaking of a set coming out, this weekend is the pre-release for Winds of the Ominous Moon for Force of Will, so make sure you guys are ready for that. Your local game store is getting ready for that, and let us know how all your stuff goes. I'm really excited about it. We'll be having the set release video, or us going over the set should already be out. If it's not, my bad. And next week's podcast, we'll be going over it in more detail, as well as we should have some stuff to, as always, how we prep you guys for pre-release and limited format for each set. We should have that coming this week as well. So really excited about this, and yeah. And so the last piece of news is Caster Chronicles has this event coming out. So it looked like it was teased a while back with that photo of a bunch of people playing volleyball. So it looks like that's coming out finally. It's called a sports festival. And so you go there and you play casters, I think, and also some other stuff, like there's a ball game or something. And there's also going to be artists in attendance and autograph sessions. And there'll be prizing, which includes this limited playmat, this deck box you can get there, as well as this promo of a Soulbond servant, which is pretty awesome. And there's also prizing, I don't know if it's actually prizing or not, but stuff you can buy, which is this sort of framed picture, regular pictures, and these sort of acrylic type of doodads you can get. If you want more information about that or anything else I've talked about, really, you can, like I say, you can check the main article on our website. But so that looks pretty interesting. It's really hard to figure out exactly what's going on because Google Translate only goes so far on the page that's linked. So I have a little bit trouble figuring out deciphering what's going on there. But if any of you guys can figure it out or have more information about it, let us know in the comments below or message us on Discord or Facebook or anything like that. And I'll be sure to update this going forward next week. But I want to figure out a way to get a lot of that merchandise, if not all of it, because it looks super awesome. But yeah, so that's all the news for today. Let me know you guys' different thoughts on those different parts of the news. What stories you sort of think stood out to you, and if you're excited, if you're going to pre-release this weekend, or if you got the Last Caster Chronicles box or anything like that. And thanks you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.